looks like he's coming our way. Hopefully we can scare him away. All right, another day. Okay, so I went online and I stole one of my videos from my other YouTube channel for a backdrop. And might be interesting for you to watch these mountain goats running around the rock face. And just out of curiosity, the bottom of this mountain you're looking at in this video, bottom left, is where a guy was camping along the river, and he was camping. His dog was locked on to something towards the river, and all he saw was these huge eyeballs up above a knocked over log on the Lillooet River. And if you travel over the top of the hill that these goats are on to the backside, that is where I found my arrow sticking up out of the snow 7 months later after I shot it in the ass of a bear. And that's also where a young man from Whistler, British Columbia wrote in about his timber cruising dad getting chased out of the timber above there as well. And then if you go to the right of this mountain face, the incidents are literally endless. Endless. But anyway, have a listen to these. Here we go. Another day. Definitely feeling a little better than yesterday, but it was a bit of a struggle all the way until probably this morning, I guess. But I'm all right now. All right enough. I get back into the gym and carry on with my mission. But anyway, I'm going to share something with you guys that I just was reading this morning. I thought, well, what the hell? It's right here in front of me. I'm going to share it. Listen to this. It's me and Sarah were talking about this the other day. We heard something about 1,000 people going missing a year in Thailand alone. So I Googled it up, and it says more than 1,000 people go missing in Thailand every year. Crazy. And 2 out of 3 are Thai children, and only a handful are foreigners. What is up with that? What's up with children being preyed on around the planet? You know, there's a side note. There's a tile cutting machine going on outside the hotel here somewhere at the place. If you hear that in the background, that's what that lovely sound is. But anyway, how crazy is that? And then right underneath your article, it said, how many people go missing in the UK? Statistics show about 180,000 people go missing in the UK every year. The number is believed to be a significant underestimate, as 353,000 files of missing persons are opened every year. There's another one right beside it. How many people go missing every month in India? Every month. Statistics show that 88 women, kids, and men go missing by the hour. 2,130 people go missing every day. And 64,851 people every month. What the F? Wow. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. But it just goes to show, like, there is so many things going on the planet that we just don't know about, aren't being informed of, or would never think about looking into ourselves, right? All sorts of crazy shit. And then, of course, there's a lot of people in North America who've been ringing alarm bells about pedophilia and human trafficking, etc. in Hollywood, and with politics and politicians. And how do I feel about that? I'd say it's just like this topic and the topics we cover here. How many times do you hear about any topic before it's time to not ignore it? You know what I mean? It's like me and the dog man thing. When people we're talking about the dog man, I'm like, God, if they shut up, they're just gonna ruin it for the people that have ran into the Sasquatch thing. But then later on, I had to, you finally have to realize, hey, wait a minute. You cannot hear about this topic, whatever topic it is. If you keep hearing about it from people who aren't related nonstop, you gotta start giving it attention, right? There's something to be said about the children going missing, isn't there? Amazing and sad and alarming. Now, and I get some more voices heard with this lovely background sound. Listen to this. Hello, Steve. God bless your heart and family. Barry Allen Ferguson. I'd sent in 2 of my experiences with the forest giants. 2 crews, helicopter out from Upright Being, Ram River, Alberta. I remember that. hunting trip west of Keg River. I'll start off from the first sighting. 1990, heli portable job 1 hour south of Chetwynd, BC. 1 hour south. Now I'm guessing that's by air. 1 hour air travel. If you're listening to this, do me a favor and send me a map of the dot where this happened, right? Because obviously you know I run around the mountains around there all the time. Me and my packer were flown into our last helipad to pick out 3 power saws. On the flight over to the next hand cut, I asked the chopper pilot to do a fly over my hand cut so I could pick out a helipad for the end of the day. That's when I saw a moose crashing through the brush going downhill. Then this humongous black beast stopped for a second, looked right in the chopper, then took off after the moose. This forest giant had long hair on its head and was on all fours. I cannot remember too much more because it only lasted seconds. God, that's insane, man. In 1992, I was working the fishing boats on the Great Slave Lake, Northwest Territories. I quit on the docks of an island called Wool Bay around 3 hours south of Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. I quit because the boss's son was a jackass. You know how many times does that scenario come into play, right? It's always the boss's kids that are the pricks. Sometimes. It took me 2 days to get a ride into Yellowknife, another 2 days to get out of Yellowknife, then another 2 days to the Alberta border. Yeah, I've kind of been there. Had to quit commercial fishing one time and was kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere. I can relate. Then another 2 days to the Alberta border. Then this person who was working at Indian Cabins from Enterprise, Northwest Territory, a gas station and restaurant about 30 minutes south of the Alberta border. I went and asked everyone for a ride south. No one helped me, so I took off walking. That's a big mistake there. I haven't read this, but I guess that's not a good move to make when you're in the north of anywhere in Canada. I made about 5 kilometers to this long right bend in the highway. The wind was blowing at my back, and I heard this clicking noise behind me. I turned around, and there was a small black bear. I put both of my bags on top of the other, then put them on my head to make myself look big. This I'll never understand. The bear stood up, then looked past me. Then it dropped down and ran like the wind across the highway into the bush. I turned around, and I seen this huge head coming out of the bush. It stopped for a second, sniffing the air. Then this humongous black and gray thing locked in on me. I knew it was not a grizzly. The body portions were all different. His shoulders were not rounded. They were close to 5 feet across, and the head just sat in the middle. It was around 400 meters from me, and I could see the bulk in the shoulders. I had nowhere to go, and it had me. The beast knew it had me. I put the bags on my head to make myself look big. The beast came out of the bush and stood up, then dropped down and came running at me full tilt. I put the bags behind me to lessen the impact. Then I picked up 2 big rocks and yelled in the air, "I'm not going down without a fight." This thing was so effing fast. When you hear about them running at 40, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, then running right up cliff faces and without stopping, I believe it. There was nothing clumsy about this forest giant. It was a pure predator. I don't know if it could smell that black bear that was just behind me. And how did that little black bear know it was there? The wind was blowing towards the giant. It covered half the distance in no time and was around 100 meters from me when my angel came around the bend in a truck, saw it was going down. First she sped up her truck, then started beeping the horn, and then slammed on her brakes. Without slowing down, this forest giant turned on a dime, ran across the highway and into the bush. When the beast was coming for me, I called on the Holy Spirit in the name of Jesus, and I believed in my words. Okay, I can say this. You wonder why it looks like the head just sits on the shoulders? Can you imagine what kind of muscles it takes to run like that? All I seen was muscles rolling from shoulder to the neck, then to the other shoulder. There's something very special or different about the wrist and ankles. Its ankles were not straight forward, but moved around, and it looked like it had really big heels. I don't know if it was the position of the ankles to the feet, but it was odd. When it was broadside to me, I got a good look at the gigantic size of it. The shoulders were at least 6 feet high from the highway, and it was close to 6 to 7 feet long. Plus, the back was angled down towards its rump. The rump or bum looked like it was flat and no tail. Long grayish black hair on the head. It looked like it was bearded with a moustache, high cheekbones with no hair. The eyes were squinted. It looked like muscle coming off the mouth and chin went straight to the neck. I just remember seeing the muscle moving there. Also, the hair on the back of the neck and shoulders looked like they were standing up on end. The woman yelled at me to get in the truck, so I threw my bags in the back and jumped in. She was from Meander River, the First Nation res not far from the incident. She told me that they were having problems there all summer. She told me they were getting into people garbage, dry meat racks, and making a mess of things. They are they. Well, my angel drove me back to the Indian cabins. I went into the restaurant and found me a ride to High Level, Alberta, Canada. Then an old friend picked me up in High Level and drove me to Manning, Alberta. I believe that the little black bear felt the infrasound that this predator was giving off. As soon as I seen the beast, I felt like it had me. So I didn't run. I was praying in my head as I was putting the bags on my head, then putting the bags behind me and picking up the rocks. First, is infrasound real and did I witness it? Second, how many Sasquatches are really out there? And why are they still alive? I mean, are there so many of them out there that their death rate to birth rate are right where it should be? Because they're still out there after thousands of years. And it doesn't seem to be hardly, if any, deformed beings out there. So they must be finding mates out there. Or is it their lifespan in the hundreds? I looked at the 50 years with Fox's video. Fox has outlived the woman's grandmother and father, and I think she's in her 50s. There's something supernatural about them, my mother believed it. My grandmother was a medicine woman and dream walker. She believed it too. I know there's something supernatural about them. Why would I still be getting visits from them? In the forms of visions in my dreams and in the flesh. God is real, Jesus is Lord, and may peace be with you. Okay, man, appreciate that email. Very detailed on where you were for all of our sleuths who enjoy to try to look into all the details and verify, right? It's funny, as soon as you said you started to walk down the highway, that's a big alarm bell for me. I mean, obviously you probably know where I was guiding for years out of Toad River, British Columbia, and farther north. And there's a biologist that proved there's a predatory, aggressive nature. The farther north you go in BC anyway, probably North America, Canada, the farther north you go is the more intense the predatory nature is from black bears on humans. And there's so many incidents of black bears whacking people in the north. That's stupid. So yeah, walking down the highway up north, not a good idea. Especially up there too. The grizzly bears in the NWT are a little smaller, but they're way more aggressive too. But anyway, the Sasquatch sightings in the NWT, it's endless. It's freaking endless. I don't know if you're still in touch with the person that saved your ass, but it should be interesting to talk to her, wouldn't it? I wonder if you are in touch, or if you know somebody from that community you could possibly forward this email or this video to, maybe, hey? One other thing about your encounter and when you say, that thing had you and it's coming for you, I wonder if there's a possibility that you may have maybe misinterpreted what was going on there. Because, I wonder, these things, even if we didn't know everything we know now, if somebody's just described that being that you just described, where you were, right, all by yourself, middle of butt F nowhere, and then a pickup truck comes down the road with a girl in it, honking at you. I mean, let's face it, if there is a predator focused on you for a meal, a predator described like that, why is it going to run away? It doesn't make sense, like, why would that thing run away? If I was that being and I thought you were going to be a meal, I'd just casually walk up and grab your ass, and I might even grab that chick on the way out or trade you in for her. Who knows? Why not? What's going to stop me? You know what I mean? It's so confusing, the reactions and the actions of a lot of these beings for me to observe and try to figure out what the F's going on, right? Another thing too, in the natural predator world that we're all familiar with, probably almost, I don't know, I can't say, definitely not wolves. Sometimes bears, sometimes not, but like the big cats, The big cat's been a good example of when they are locked onto their prey. It's like that laser lock on, boom, locked on, and not giving a shit what's going on around them. They're locked onto that prey animal, and they're going to get it at all costs, no matter what. You know, right down to, there's a video clip a little while ago of a guy, cat came broad daylight, cougar comes walking into the driveway of their campsite, broad daylight, 2 dogs there, latches onto 1 dog. The owner comes out, starts beating on it with a frickin' hatchet, all right, machete, and the thing stayed locked onto that dog, still trying to kill it, even though it's getting pounded on, you know? Like, why, how could, it's just hard to imagine something breaking the concentration of that predator you described being if it wanted your ass, and it moves that fast. So I wonder if, what were the real true intentions if, just saying if, it wasn't actually looking at you as a meal. Because if it was, and it can move that fast, it's just going to keep running up and grab you and not even pause along the way and go charging into the bush. Truck or no truck. Gone. See ya. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's interesting. If you got anything else you want to shoot back anytime, send it in, all right, man? Or if you know anybody who has some kind of information or some kind of experience you think might help somebody here, then send away, all right? And or even that community. If there's any way of you knowing someone in that community who spoke of where the truck came from, maybe possibly send this video to them and see if they might have some stuff they want to share with us too, okay? Thanks for sending that in, man. Now, this next one comes from someone who's contributed a handful of times, but I can't remember if he said to use your name or not, man. But anyway, listen to this. This is titled Manifesting Creature Pick. Okay, that was just a little while ago, right? Hey, Steve. In the case of portals and manifestations, I suggest that portals are visible and have boundaries where the distortion begins. I've seen these in pictures by other researchers. I have not seen one myself in person. My point is that when a portal is being used, you can see it. It is larger than whatever is coming through it. In my UFO studies, I have read about these many times. I don't necessarily equate them to UFO. I have read nothing that connects the two phenomena. Now, let's talk about manifestations or demanifestations. It's either coming or going, right? These happen anywhere, anytime. A physical portal does not have to be present for this to occur. I have seen many pictures of individuals and groups partially or wholly in that partial state, sometimes intentionally remaining in the portal state for considerate time. In this case, the trail cam picture you include in your video titled, quote, "What is caught on this trail cam," end quote, dated February 5th, 2023. I think what we have is a creature caught mid-manifestation, and that it is coming into physicality because as it did, it triggered the camera. The camera took the shot quickly enough to catch it mid-manifestation. I do not see a distortion boundary either circular or otherwise around this creature that is consistently there when portals are seen. You can contact me if I'm wrong in this aspect always. Oh, sorry, you can correct me if I am wrong on this aspect always. People often see creatures walking behind trees or whatever objects and disappearing completely. No distortion is seen or described. Scott Carpenter actually did a video on portals and has video of at least one as he is walking away with his camera facing backward. The distortion is there for you to see. I have read dozens of observations of portals in my UFO studies. At night, they tend to have light associated within the boundary around whatever is coming through. During the day, it is just a clear shaped distortion, often around, but not always. If the creatures are not entering a portal, then how are they doing this? We do not know how they do it, but it is seen so often that by now the inquiring or research community is very aware of this aspect. It happens regularly and is no longer considered anomalous. They do it intentionally and control it, the degree to which they disappear. I know this because I watched a guy who put out videos of his own solo excursions. A very honest guy who for years was a trap setter and tracker. And in one of those videos, 3 Sabe manifested heads only behind and above this guy as he was standing in one spot talking about how they were really messing with him lately. They were having fun and mocking him as he made the whole video talking about how they were messing with him. Had I not seen it myself and someone told me about it, I doubt I would have put much confidence in it. It was so apparent that I began laughing hard. It reminded me of the Three Stooges. My own conclusion is that any of these creatures who have the same or similar origins, base, genetics, and makeup, but are blended with different other genes such as canine or ram, they all exhibit the same capabilities of manifestation and demanifestation. So, dog man, sabe, ram man, goat man all come and go at will. In this trail camera picture presented in your video, ignore the distorted parts and focus on the parts that are fully manifested. The legs. Using your knowledge of animals, ask yourself, what creature has legs like that? Is it a large canine, a ram, or a goat? In all the pictures I've seen that show a state change from invisible to visible, there is always distortion as the manifestation seems to go from the bottom to the top. Legs are always first to appear or last to go. In demanifestation, the upper portion of the creature is usually distorted, as you see in this photo, twisted around and not in the form you'd expect to see. That displaced distorted form twists around to its proper position as it comes into solidity visually. It's bizarre, but it is consistent. Always look for things that repeat when trying to understand something. Does it repeat or occur the same way consistently? Patterns are critical. In this correspondence, I took my observations and those of others like Scott Carpenter and tried to inform your audience that there are patterns to their actions and behaviors we can observe and learn from. I don't know how they do it, but Steve, you have read emails that indicate that the animal hybrids like Dogman have the same capabilities as Sabe or Sasquatch. I've learned that it seems base genetics are shared in these different hybrid creatures and Sabe. I shared with you the Book of Giants passages that talk about the blending efforts, these blending efforts to create the hybrids. It says the effort was headed by the fallen ones, those who created the Nephilim, but it only implies that Nephilim genetics are part of this. Until we can verify it, we are relying on the record. More genetic work is needed, I believe. If there are current efforts underway, the same formulas are being used, perhaps with slight modifications. Right now, I know very little about these newer efforts, but I am pushing to get more on this as time allows. I hope this helps. Patterns are there to be discovered, and patterns tell us what kinds of actions and behaviors they use consistently. Your readings of the emails give many examples of consistent behavior, and we have those who are brave enough to share their experiences to thank. Rob. Okay, Rob, I'll call you Rob for right now because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use your name or not, man. I'm sorry. But anyways, you guys, this man has looked into these beings and more for a long time. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more from you, man. And we'll get together and talk soon. And the patterns, that's huge. You know, there's been a handful of related, unrelated. There's been a handful of people that have come to this channel and have complained and emailed and complained. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same thing, same stuff. Exactly, because it's really going on. Right? Patterns, you guys. Take note of that. The patterns. How many patterns have we seen, listened to, as we sponge up everybody's knowledge of what they're seeing? The patterns are endless. Write a list down. Write a list of the patterns. If you're trying to learn and looking for that missing puzzle piece for your puzzle, write a list down of the absolute obvious patterns we've seen in these. I don't even know how many emails now. I seriously haven't a clue. Thousands, right? Thousands. Thousands of people. Thousands of brave, honest people in the club of no return. Anyways, man, thanks for that. Keep digging, and keep sharing. It's endless. Let's see what else we got. Here's a stroke with a photograph or a painting or something. Missing picture from February 4th, 23 episode, question mark. I'm not sure if this is the picture that they were speaking of, but it's pretty close. All right. I don't know, possibly because I was sick. I don't know, my brain's not firing right now because I'm not remembering the email that was missing a picture, but I'll post this up because if it's missing, it's my fault, and I'm sure somebody's going to take notice and know exactly what you're talking about. So here you go, you guys. Here is the picture. Now, what else do we got? Photo of orb in Smoky Mountains. Hello, Steve. Just want to say this is what my mom seen tonight. Also, I wrote about this. I wrote this out by hand first to eliminate grammar errors and all. Okay. But I might be kind of challenged myself. So I'm sure I'll read it smooth. Today, my mom and some of her friends went on a hike, calling it a full moon hike. They're only allowed to use red colored light emitting flashlights. Park rule. This hike took place in the Smoky Mountain / Blue Ridge Parkway. What? Park rule? There's an actual park rule that tells you what kind of flashlights you can use? You gotta be kidding me. Holy shit. All right, sorry for that little outburst. This hike took place in the Smoky Mountains Blue Ridge Parkway. While on this hike, she took many photos of the views. As she was scrolling through them, so I could see her favorite ones, she began telling me about seeing an orb of light up in the trees. Then showed me 2 different photos of the same spot, and in the second one you can see a blue/green orb. The area the photo was taken at was around 7.5 miles deep in the woods. She was at a field where normally elk are spotted. She informed me that they watched this orb move around to the tops of the trees for like 2 minutes. After she was done telling me about witnessing this, I told her, welcome to the club and no return. Because many people, including yourself, Steve, have shared experiences with seeing the same thing. While she told me about this experience, I could see her face just light up with the joy/excitement because she knows that the Lord is with her while on hiking trips like this. My name is Matthew Lambert, and a proud member of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation in Western North Carolina. Thanks to all those who have shared their experiences, and to you for giving everyone a place to do so. P.S. The first picture is a beautiful view, and figured you'd enjoy it. Just as I enjoy all the views you share with us, you can use any of these 3 pictures. If you would like to do so, that is. Okay, man, appreciate it. Yeah, okay, I can see that light in the trees for sure. That first one. Crazy. I've seen lights myself. Do I know what they are? Nope. Do I have an idea? Kinda. Great pictures, man. Thanks for sending that in. And make sure your mom knows there's a safe place to go if she's got anything else going down or has happened or she wants to share. Okay, man? And email us back again if you pick up any more knowledge that somebody like me wants to sponge up. Now, here's another one titled Predator Being. Hi, Steve. I previously wrote you with this experience. At that time, your cell phone was destroyed, and I'm sure the email was lost. In 2012, we were living in a horse breeding town approximately 20 miles south of Albuquerque called Bosque Farms. Lived in an adobe home next to the Isleta Pueblo Reservation. Watching football Sunday afternoon in front room with my husband, who was laser focused on the game, I heard to my right a swishing/crackly noise. It was a transparent being, about 7.5 to 9 feet tall, traversing the adobe wall. It had a blue/pink edge that outlined its body, otherwise was clear like the predator. It had a smallish head compared to the body. It passed through our couch, which is up against the wall, and continued through the computer desk at the end of our front room, which is on the other side of that far wall, emptied into our master bedroom. I wrote David Plottis' experience at the same time I wrote you. He wrote back that he would have had a heart attack seeing this thing. Strangely, I had no fear, more fascination, and a bit stunned after it disappeared through that far wall. I never said anything to my husband, didn't want to take my eyes off of it. I wasn't sure what it would do. Has anyone else experienced this? People see them outside, but in a house indoors? Love the channel. It's great to have this forum. We need to get these strange happenings out to know you aren't going crazy. Thank you, Steve. By the way, Sarah's By the way, Sarah has given up the cooking channel for your retail outlet. I enjoy her healthy recipes. A loyal round table follower, Laura. Okay, Laura, thanks for that. And after hearing people, I don't know how many people here, we've had so many people here write in about seeing something in their bedroom, on the ceiling, in the back of the room, back of the house, behind the frickin' TV, passing through walls, hairy feet. All they can see is hairy legs and feet looking through to another room, etc., etc., etc. And what an absolute ridiculous thing to think up. Find somebody on YouTube and email it into them, right? I mean, if you are apt to whatever's wrong with you between your ears, you just have some kind of weird burning urge to write up some bullshit story and send it to somebody so you can get your rocks off for 3.5 seconds while it gets read online, right? Like, all right, somebody's going to make up the bullshit story and send it in, okay? Very rare. I mean, if somebody's going to think, if you are built that way to want and need to do that, you're probably going to send in one a little better. You know what I mean? Like that story ripping around about the ex-cop from BC with a whole troop of them and a whole line of humans, and they start raping human, and they called for backup and snuck in with 50 cals and shot them all. I ran that by Dave. There's too many clues in there to, anyways, babbling about a different topic. And I'm just going to say, if you're apt to write a story, an actual story, you're probably going to write a pretty good one. But to have these bizarre, what the F, experiences going on inside homes, and now we've got dozens and dozens of people from around the globe, not connected in any way, writing in similar, it needs some attention, right? That needs some attention, and that is absolutely bizarre shit. And it's a little alarming too, right? Anyway, thanks for sending that email. Appreciate it. And Sarah, yeah, the cooking thing's been a little tough just because I got to do all the editing, and she feels guilty for me doing the editing, and she's got, there's 2 kids that farm animals, and she's just kind of sitting out on the back burner a little bit, but she's definitely enjoying hand picking out the quality hats and other things. And I guess she's going to, like I said, I've never really been to that department myself, but she's diving in, so she's into it. So I encourage her to do what she wants to do. Now, let's read this one. The first story is spot on. The one I saw as a kid had long hairs 5 to 7 inches on its arms and certain spots of its body, but it was really old and grayish-white hair. Most of its hair was gone. It had a native look to it, but much wider, bigger, stretched face, and looked Aboriginal also, maybe even a little African as well. A blend of all. A blend of all three, but in a Neanderthal version. The skin looked dark brown, almost black, until it stepped into the sunlight and gave off a weird, silvery gray, oily sheen reflect to it that made it change color. Almost like smeared with oil and ashes, but far more shiny. The look you described is spot on, but I've found most that have red are younger. They change color as they age, so color can tell us their stage of life. They are the biggest when white. When you see one with little hair, they have human-type features, but with this gorilla-shaped head, I know they are not primate, or at least none like we have ever known. Anyways, something in between a primate and a Neanderthal is the closest I can come. A certain race of Neanderthal, the giant version is cousin. Love this video. 5 stars. On the first video, he knows the club and O return. Good stuff. Okay, this email is a little confusing, but it obviously ties into another email, or the video I read the other day, or something. Damn it. I'm sure it'll make sense to somebody more than it is for me right now. I'm a little confused. I don't have the time to go digging around looking at what I read recently for it. So it is what it is. We'll leave it at that, all right? Anyway, I'm going to get going. I think I'm well enough to go back to doing what I'm here to do. Now I'm looking forward to going home. Keep emailing me. Keep emailing in these experiences to share my story at howtohunt.com. All right?